In this tutorial, we'll learn how to create a non-destructive glow effect in Krita using various filters and techniques. You can see here that I already have a red text in a vector layer on top of a black background. First, you need to select the layer that will be used as the source for the non-destructive glow effect. This will be our vector layer. Then here in the layers docker, we'll add a new clone layer for this vector layer. A clone layer is a special type of layer in Krita that creates a non-destructive copy of another layer. This means that if we change our original layer later, the clone will automatically change as well. We're going to add a new filter mask to this clone layer. The filter that we want is the Gaussian blur filter. You can see here that Krita limits the amount of blur to 100 pixels. If you need more blur than that, you can simply select the filter mask of the Gaussian blur and duplicate it. This will apply the Gaussian blur to the Gaussian blur, which will make the blur larger. However, this can be very computationally expensive on large images. If you need to add a large glowing effect to an image, it might be a good idea to create the blur effect in a separate file and then copy and paste the result as a single layer. We're going to use a smaller blur for this effect so that we can see how it works. Next, select the clone layer and change its blend mode from normal to addition, which is found in the arithmetic category. At first glance, this doesn't seem to do anything. That's because the background of this image is black and the color of the text is pure red. To understand how the addition blend mode works, let's go to Settings on the menu bar, Docker's Specific Color Selector. This Docker shows us the exact RGB values of the selected color. Let's use the eyedropper tool in the toolbox to sample the color from the canvas. To do this, first we need to go to the Tool Options Docker and change this setting so it can sample from all visible layers. This allows us to sample the final color on the canvas after the layers have been blended by Krita. You can see here that the red color of the text is 255 red and 0 green and blue. Because 255 is the maximum value with 8-bit color depth, we can't increase it. Meanwhile, if we add 0 to 0, the result is 0. In order to make the color brighter with the low effect, we need some amount of green and blue. Then when we add the RGB values together, it's going to increase more and more until it eventually reaches 255 in all three components. Then the color becomes white. Let's see this in practice by selecting the text in the vector layer and changing its color so that green and blue are at 50% of the maximum. Now we can see here that the color of the text gradually becomes brighter near the center. That's because we had applied a Gaussian blur to it, so it's blurring the opaque pixels with the transparent pixels, which means the edges of the text become semi-transparent while the center is more opaque. If we sample the color of the corners, we'll see that the color is not the color that we selected, but something brighter already, while areas close to the center are pure white. Next, I'm going to apply this glow effect to a paint layer together with our vector layer. To do this, first I'm going to add a new paint layer, and I'm going to paint on it with a brush. You can see that while the addition blend mode affects this new layer, the paint isn't being used as the source for the glow. That's because when we create the clone layer, we only clone the vector layer. To make it apply to both layers, first we put both layers into a group, then we right-click on the clone layer and click on Set Copy From. We'll select the group layer as the source for the clone. Now the paint layer glows. Next, we're going to learn some tricks to create high-quality glowing effects. Some of the concepts in this part of the tutorial have already been explained in a previous tutorial about making rainbow-colored text. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to learn about them. When working with filters like Gaussian blur, you may sometimes get banding artifacts around the blur that aren't desirable. These banding artifacts occur due to rounding errors that happen when Krita calculates the RGB values of the pixels. We can get rid of them by switching from 8-bit color depth to 16-bit color depth. To do this, go to Image on the menu bar and click on Convert Image Color Space, then change the color depth from 8-bit to 16-bit. When you do this, Krita will automatically change the color profile from perceptual gamma to linear gamma. This isn't necessary for a glow effect, and it will change the appearance of the resulting color after adding two RGB values together. However, we're still going to use a linear profile. That's because this is a tutorial for creating a luminous glow effect, and the linear profile behaves in a way that better resembles how light works in real life. It's easier to create a realistic glow using the linear profile. However, we're not going to use the sRGB profile. We're going to use the Rec 2020 profile because it supports a wider gamut of colors. In practice, what is going to happen is that the glow effect will suddenly become much brighter. This is how color and light actually works. Our eyes perceive a small addition of light as being fully bright already. In fact, it's so bright that it can be difficult to make the glow darker using this profile. There is a trick that we can use to fix that. Let's add a new filter mask to our clone layer. The filter that we want is the levels filter. By default, the levels filter is used to adjust the lightness of colors in an image. But if we click on this colored icon here, we'll be able to adjust different channels independently. The channel that we want to modify is the alpha channel. Here in the middle of the input levels, we have a text box that controls the gamma of the levels filter. Let's try setting this to 2.2, which is the same gamma as the perceptual gamma color profile. You can see here that it just became even brighter, which is the opposite of what we wanted. Why did this happen? That's because to achieve that gamma function with this filter, we need to divide 1 by 2.2, which is around 0.45. Now it's closer to the brightness we had before. Of course, we don't need to use this gamma, we can just use any gamma that we want. And it's going to look nice. Because we're working with 16-bit color, the levels filter isn't the only filter that we can use for this. We can also use the color adjustment curves filter, which allows more control over the mapping function. In particular, it allows us to create pulsating glowing rings by using a wave that goes up and down instead of a simple ramp. As you can see here, even though our glow effect is at 100% opacity, that isn't enough to make the center of the letters pure white. There are two methods that we can use to achieve such effect. The simplest method is to simply select the clone layer and then click on this button to duplicate it. Now we're adding the same values twice, which makes it brighter. If you do this, it's a good idea to change the amount of blur that the second copy has. And if this isn't enough, we can always duplicate it a second time, so we have 3 copies of the glow effect stacked one on top of the other. The second method that we can use is to simply make the colors of the clone layer become lighter before they are added to the bottom layers. The simplest way to do this would be with a simple color adjustment. However, if we do this, it's going to change the color of the glow outside the letters, so it doesn't look like the letters are glowing anymore, it just looks like everything is whiter. Consequently, we have to use a different technique instead. Let's select our clone layer and add a filter mask to it. The filter that we want is the cross-channel color adjustment filter, which we have already learned about in the rainbow video. We're going to make it modify the lightness channel, and our driver channel will be the alpha. Now we're going to move the right control point so that the lightness of the RGB values increases with the amount of alpha of the pixel. This is going to make the more opaque pixels close to the center of the letters become brighter. We can also move the left control point more to the right so that semi-transparent pixels retain their original color for longer. However, I think that won't be necessary in this case. Now our centers are brighter, but it's not enough. We need more light power. We can simply use the previous technique and duplicate everything until it's bright enough. Keep in mind that iterations with less blur will appear more powerful because the opacity isn't diluted with transparent pixels. As you can see here, this effect looks really cool, but there are still some areas that aren't the color I want. I want white, not some random saturated color. And since all I want is white, and the math isn't helping me get the white color I want, I'm going to cheat at math to get what I want. We're going to use this last iteration of the glow effect that has only 5 pixels of Gaussian blur. First, I'm going to select it, then I'm going to add a filter mask to it. The filter that I want is the HSV/HSL adjustment filter. Like I said, all I want is to make this white, so that's what I'm going to do. Full lightness. Now it's white, which is the way I wanted, and it looks really cool. As mentioned previously, the cool thing about these non-destructive filters in Krita is that they don't need to apply to text. You can apply them to anything, including brushes. In particular, you can always use them with textured brushes, and that usually looks really cool. This is how you create a non-destructive glow effect in Krita. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any doubts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Krita tutorials.